Hello and welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well, fam, in all your ways, and that you are moving into living your best life. I know it sounds like an oxymoron when people are in lockdown, but truly, some people are living their best lives. They've never had this much time to just reset. And I'm telling you, as much as this lockdown was, a new world order agenda, the global, whatever, curfews, lockdown, whatever situation you've been in, it has actually been such a blessing in disguise for the global black family because so many of us have awakened or are awakening or have even started to question what is really going on because, everyone's at home. So everyone's kind of watching the news and, there's stories that have spread like wildfire that have made more and more Africans start to question the matrix. And it's absolutely amazing. Thanks to everyone that supports us through our Patreon and our PayPal accounts. Really appreciate, love each and every one of you because many of the stories that we continue to cover, may not be monetized by YouTube, but we will continue to cover them because it's important that we understand the pattern of what is happening because we also have a narrative of our own that we should be creating and manifesting at this time. But it's very important for us to also be aware of what the enemy or the powers that be or this global matrix is trying to do because Babylon is falling, but it's not going to fall without trying to take as many of you with them as possible. But I pray that won't happen now. I reported a week ago or so, about 17 Chinese that had been arrested in Osun state for illegal mining, illegal miners basically. And they had been arrested on May 4th and through a sting operation by the Osun State Joint Task Force, and they were caught with 9 others. Unfortunately, some of those 9 others were also, our brothers. There's always a sellout there. But now what is happening is that the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, he said on Friday that powerful Nigerians were seeking to release some of these Chinese illegal miners that had been arrested. And the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Osun State Governor Abdullahi Binyo said the illegal miners who had been arrested, following a coordinated sting operation. And, it was after actually they received many complaints from the Nigerians themselves, the villagers, because now people are like, hey, we're going to even expose everyone. And I mean, of course, that's the kind of culture they're trying to create, this big brother where you snitch on your neighbor. But the minister, he said, there has been pressure, especially in Osun. There has been pressure on the state government that these people should be released because most of these people are working for Nigerians. What? Nigerians in high positions, Nigerians in authority. But thank God the Osun state government has so far resisted this pressure. And I thanks to the brother who sent me this, who first he sent me a long email, like you can't believe what they're doing. And then he sent me the news article. And basically, at the briefing on Friday, the minister also intimated that the federal government was working to set up special courts in every state of the federation to check the activities of illegal miners. But basically, what they're saying is that there's godfathers, and we knew this. We know this. I mean, it's just like now everyone has kind of known, this is how corruption operates. Is that even if you see a Chinaman deep, deep, deep in the village, he's probably got someone else that is backing him that looks like you and me. And it's great that these things are starting to come out. And I'm telling you, I wish they would name and shame because, everyone was just talking about, everyone is just talking about these godfathers or these influential Nigerians who are putting pressure. And this story has received so much international acclaim that it's even difficult for these, godfather. But, a godfather will always think they can get away with anything. But I think it's time that people, disclose this. And the minister actually disclosed this to journalists at the ministry headquarters in Abuja, saying, who are these influential? Some influential Nigerians have been mounting pressure on the government to free the illegal miners. But this is how the Chinese government operates. They free these people and then they're sent back to China, and they never face justice, on the continent. Although, I mean, just by going back to China, that's justice itself, because then they'll probably go down on the social credit scheme. Because if you don't know, China actually has this credit score, and many Chinese actually can't even travel out of their country because they've forgotten to pay some bill, or they've said something against the Communist Party, etc., etc. But it's good that even that this has been released, and the minister vowed that the federal government would no longer tolerate illegal mining, adding that ministry officials would meet with the Chinese government over the illegal activities of their nationals in Nigeria. Yes. Go straight to them and say, we won't put this, instead of allowing them, because the Chinese always try to get their people out, and then who knows what they happen to them when they go back. But, he said, the Chinese are the main culprits in the illegal mining activities, and we're going to meet with the Chinese embassy. We're going to present all the facts to them so that it will not appear as if we're targeting them unfairly. And he said taking gold out of Nigeria illegally is economic sabotage, because if you look at the quantum, the value is huge. Whoa. Let me know what you think of this, fam. I'm telling you, things are happening. Things are happening. And you may only see, you may wonder why these things are happening in Nigeria, in Ghana. These are the countries that are kind of making news right now. It's because there's gateway, the New World Order agenda has gateway nations in Africa. And that's why you see the tug of war. But once it happens in one, like Nigeria is the gateway for West Africa. If they get to Nigeria, they'll get to the rest of West Africa. That's how they operate, Nigeria is like the gatekeeping nation. We could say Kenya is a gatekeeping nation of East Africa, but we're just biggest sellouts ever. Anyway, let me know I'll find you guys in the comments. Until next time. Mwah.
Why should the black man in America concern himself, since we've been away from the African continent for 400 years, 300 or 400 years? Why should we concern ourselves? What impact does what happened to them have upon us? Number one, first you have to realize that up until 1959, Africa was dominated by the colonial powers, and by the colonial powers of Europe having complete control over Africa, they projected the image of Africa negatively. They projected Africa always in a negative light. Jungles, savages, cannibals, nothing civilized. And naturally, it was so negative until it was negative to you and me. And you and I began to hate it. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. And you show me one of these people over here who have been thoroughly brainwashed, who has a negative attitude toward Africa, and I'll show you one that has a negative attitude toward himself. You can't have a negative attitude toward yourself, a positive attitude toward yourself, and a negative attitude toward Africa at the same time. To the same degree that your attitude, that your understanding of an attitude toward Africa becomes positive, you'll find that your understanding of and your attitude toward yourself will also become positive. And this is what the white man knows. So they very skillfully made you and me hate our African identity, our African characteristics. And you know yourself that we have been a people who hated our African characteristics. We hated our hair. We hated the shape of our nose. We wanted one of those long, dog-like noses, Yeah. We hated the color of our skin. Hated the blood of Africa that was in our veins. And in hating our features and our skin and our blood, why we had to end up hating ourselves. And we hated ourselves. Our color became to us a chain. We felt that it was holding us back. Our color became to us like a prison, which we felt was keeping us confined, not letting us go this way or that way. And we felt that all of these restrictions were based solely upon our color, and the psychological reaction to that would have to be that as long as we felt imprisoned or chained or trapped by black skin, black features, and black blood, that skin and those features and that blood that was holding us back automatically had to become hateful to us. And it became hateful to us. It made us feel inferior. It made us feel inadequate. It made us feel helpless. And when we fell victim to this feeling of inadequacy or inferiority or helplessness, we turned to somebody else to show us the way. We didn't have confidence in another black man to show us the way, or black people to show us the way. In those days, we didn't. We didn't think a black man could do anything but play some horn, some sound, and make you happy with some songs. And in that way, but in serious things, where our food, clothing, and shelter was concerned, and our education was concerned, we turned to the man. We never thought in terms of bringing these things into existence for ourselves. We never thought in terms of doing things for ourselves because we felt helpless. And what made us feel helpless was our hatred for ourselves. One of the things that made the Black Muslim movement grow was its emphasis upon things African. This was the secret to the growth of the Black Muslim movement. African blood, African origin, African culture, African ties. And you'd be surprised. We discovered that deep within the subconscious of the black man in this country, he's still more African than he is American. He thinks that he's more American than African because the man is jiving him and the man is brainwashing him every day, telling him, you're an American, you're an American. Man, how could you think you're an American and you have never had any kind of American treat over here? You have never. 10 men can be sitting at a table eating, dining. And I can come and sit down where they're dining. They're dining. I got a plate in front of me, but nothing is on it. Because all of us are sitting at the same table, are all of us diners? I'm not a diner until you let me dine. Then I become a diner. Just being at the table with others who are dining doesn't make me a diner. And this is what you got to get in your head here in this country. Just because you're in this country doesn't make you an American. And no, you got to go farther than that before you can become an American. You got to enjoy the fruits of Americanism. And you haven't enjoyed those fruits. You've enjoyed the thorns. You've enjoyed the thistles, but you have not enjoyed the fruits. No, sir. So I point these things out, brothers and sisters, so that you and I will know the importance in 1965 of being in complete unity with each other, harmony with each other, and not letting the man maneuver us into fighting one another. I say that again that I'm not a racist. I don't believe in any form of segregation or anything like that. I'm for the brotherhood of everybody, but I don't believe in forcing brotherhood upon people who don't want it. As long as we practice brotherhood among ourselves, and then others who want to practice brotherhood with us, we practice it with them also. We're for that. But I don't think that we should run around trying to love somebody who doesn't love us. Thank you.